What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So there's still about like an hour left of the market, but really doesn't matter at this point. It's not really going to change kind of what my thoughts are going into the rest of the week or into tomorrow. So today, off of open, we ended up opening right down where? Right here at 9:30. 10 SMA cross below the 50 here on the call side. That means the market's neutral. There's no trend in the market, so pretty much all we were looking for was a 0 DT cross. So on the call side, I actually gave a few stabs long today. So this is what we took. So first being this cross right here, 10 SMA crossing the 50, right at like 10:15. Forget the exact time that I called this on the Discord, but this was a break-even trade. I took like multiple break-even trades today because I was being a little bit more cautious. So we did have that 30-minute 50 like I just showed you. If we go here to the calls, we were hovering around that 30-minute 50 right here. So, I wanted to keep things tight just because I know that, we are still at this resistance point. It might not be as strong, but I know we're still there. So I'm going to keep my risk a little tighter on this and just see if we could squeeze something out of this. And of course, we didn't really get much. So at one point, I was up like 35 points on this trade. I wanted to see 50 points to take some profits off the table. But I'm trying to find the screenshot of when I took this, but I'll show you exactly what the chart looked like. So this is what it looked like. I actually got out of this initially like right off the bat. So if we pull this up right here, you can see this is where I actually exited it because it just looked a little weird. There was still 3 minutes left. I wanted to see this actually cross before getting my entry. So if I stuck with my original entry, I would have been up 50 points and I would have taken profit, but that wasn't the case. I got back in on this candle closure and it ended up ripping a little bit higher. And yeah, I was up like 35 points at one point and ended up stopping even on the pullback. So again, that was the reason I went break even, was because we were at that 30-minute 50, so there was still a chance that it does reject, and if it does, I want to be protected. So that's the first trade I took, and then there was like 2 entries there. I stopped even and then got stopped even again. So 2 break evens right there, and then I got pretty much break even for a third time right here. So I entered this cross right here, 10 going above the 50. I got in on, I think, this candle right here on the closure of it at 12:55, or at 1 o'clock actually. I got in this that I was long, trying it one last time I said, and I mean it looked good, but again, that 30-minute 50, we weren't actually at it this time. But this is what it looked like at the time, right at 1 o'clock. It looked really good. 10 crossing the 50, 50 up hard. And yeah, it just ended up playing out. Again, the price action up here was really, really choppy. So that's ultimately what let me just cut this position. I think I was like down 2 points on NQ. NQ was a lot stronger, even though we pulled back to the 50 right here. NQ ended up, I was green a little bit, probably like 10 points, and then it pulled back. And after it kind of just stalled, I just got out. There was no point for me to really hold this because we already tried twice back here, and I'm like, okay, price is barely moving. There's no point in even taking this at this moment. So I just stopped out at break even, or for a 2-point L. So I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but that's what I took when it came to SPY today. There was nothing else I was really interested in because if we pull up the next week's, I did have the next week's contracts on watch just to kind of see, what we were going to be shaping up to look like when it came to SPY for next week. And I just pulled up the 70s here because that's where we were at, but it did look like we were going to be bullish. So that's kind of why I was not, really taking any shorts, because next week's contracts look more bullish, and there's no really resistance on the contracts for next week. But again, we'll have to see how we open up tomorrow to see what contracts we actually get. So today I was a little bit more conservative on the short side just because of how we were looking for next week's contracts. But tomorrow obviously is the right day to pick the new one. So again, if you took a short, you probably would have got stopped out on those. But again, really wasn't focused on the downside today. I wanted to see, this chart cross negative or something like that, or the market flip bearish, for me to really be focused on shorts. So that's pretty much what we did on SPY. Pretty much break even day. Took a 2-point L on NQ after those 2 break even trades. So I mean, really nothing from today when it comes to SPY. But when it comes to individual stocks, MSTR, this ended up flying today. I mean, this was a crazy move from it. So 10 SMA crossing the 50, you can just see what happened right here. I know I went over this yesterday. I tried catching the move here. 10 SMA went above the 50. I actually took this at the close on, I believe, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, whatever day, or Wednesday, or no, Tuesday. Ended up taking this right here. 40% stopped even, and then it crossed again right here. Your entry would have been like 783 on these contracts, and those went up a lot. But I didn't take this. I didn't really see this off of the open, so yeah, that wasn't a trade that I took, but just an example of a trade you could have taken. BMNR, I think I went over this in yesterday's video, but this is a crazy move. I mean, told you guys at the close yesterday, this looked really good for higher. We got back above the 10 and the 50 here. I mean, the only reason this closed below the 50 was because of the FOMC, but overall this chart was really bullish at the close, and look at these contracts, couple 100%. It's simple, man. We got back above the 10 and the 50. We got a big move out of it, and again, really the only reason this lost 50 was because of FOMC, so you could have honestly sold this before FOMC yesterday and just waited to see what we looked like after the news came out. But again, I know we took this yesterday for about like 50%, and then I got stopped break even on the rest when 2 o'clock hit. So yeah, that's pretty much how BMNR played out. SoFi, this still looks really good for higher on the October contracts. You can see here. Again, I told you guys this chart has been looking really bullish because we're cross on the monthlies. We held the 50 here. We got back above the 10. Still looks good for higher. Wouldn't be surprised to see this continue to trend up over the next couple days. PDD, you guys know we ended up playing this yesterday, but it still looks really good on the monthlies. This isn't the monthly chart, but we're going to be changing tomorrow. So if we pull up the monthly contracts really quickly here to show you what that looks like. Let's see. I'm guessing it's these ones. Yeah. So we're just crossing here on the monthly chart. Obviously, there's a little bit of a gap between price, but I told you guys there is a dip. Most likely, it's probably going to get bought up just because we're just crossing here. But again, it's not really guaranteed that we're going to pull back. I wouldn't be surprised with this chart to continue higher over the next couple days. JD, this is one I gave to you guys, and I keep going over it. It's a really good looking setup. I'm currently in this right now. I'm up, I think, 25% on my October 3rd contracts. I'm actually in this with good amount of size, probably a heavier size trade for me because this just looks really good. I mean, the risk to reward on this trade is through the roof. I ended up adding some more this morning to this, and if we pull up the chart here, I'm going to show you guys exactly where we added at, and this is pretty much the bottom for the day on the contracts. Right off open, I added 937. This is where I added. If you pull up the timestamp of JD, pretty much the bottom for the day. And I mean, we pulled back to this 10 SMA right here just about, and that's why I added. It looks really good. I expect this to continue higher over the next couple of days. Really sized in on the swing, so it's a high confidence trade, and when I'm high confidence, that's when I do size up and take the chance because it just looks really good. So JD, it's a really, really good looking setup. I gave the setup in the free Discord of why I like it. So make sure you guys are in there if you guys do want to get some free setups, or you can just watch the videos. But if you want to see it broken down a little bit, I do go over some setups in there. But yeah, those are some of the swings. I entered a new one today, which I'm not going to go over because I don't want to share every single swing for free, obviously, because there's a premium part of the Discord where I don't want to just be sharing everything I take for free. After the fact, after we take the trade, I'll go over if we took a winner or a loser on it. But it's the same concept. It's a monthly cross that's happening right now on a stock, and it pretty much is identical to JD, maybe a little bit more extended from the 10 and the 50, but still, it's a good setup that I like, and we're taking that swing. So that's pretty much what we did today for SPY, for individual stocks. I still have some PDD going into tomorrow and next week. It's my runner portion that I have from the swing we took last week on Friday. So yeah, really not much going on today. Again, there's not going to be a trade every single day, but again, we did enter a new swing. But when it comes to trading, when the market's not moving great, you don't need to be taking trades. The system gave a couple entries today, didn't end up playing out because, again, that's another thing you have to realize. That's why that 30-minute chart is so important because it tells me whether to be cautious on this cross or not cautious. So when we're near that 30-minute 50, I'm still going to take the chance on the cross depending on how it was sloped. So it was pretty flat. It wasn't really curled down much. So that's why another reason I did take it and give it a shot was because it was more flat. And when the 50 is more flat, more likely to break. And of course, it didn't break today. But at the same time, I knew to keep a tighter stop on it. If it starts to reject, I'm just going to get out and I took the break even on it. So really not a bad day at all when it comes to that. As long as we're not taking big losers, man, it's a winning day in my books. But yeah, for SPY tomorrow, we're neutral market tomorrow. We're going to be getting probably the 570s, the 565s, and actually no, we might be bullish depending on the contract tomorrow. I know we just pulled these up and these are August contracts. I don't know why those are August contracts that just pulled up, but if we pull up the contracts here, 570s, I would take it as okay. Yeah, that's not a good look at all. 10 SMA going below the 50 here on the call side. With this look, it's definitely not a bullish look at all. If we cross negative, which we probably will, I would expect some sort of drop tomorrow. But again, we'll play what we see tomorrow. If we get a put cross, we'll take it. If we get, if we flip back bullish and cross, and then we get a 0 DT cross, then we'll take that. But this chart right here, not a good looking setup for the bull side because we have this 10 SMA here pointed down hard. Looks like it's going to cross negative here. We'll have to see how we close. But if this chart goes negative, I'd expect some sort of pullback tomorrow. And hopefully maybe we could catch a 0 DT cross out of that. So I'm not necessarily trading, the negative cross off the 30-minute here. I'm just going to wait for that setup tomorrow and take an entry on the 0 DT chart. That's what I like to do. We use the 30-minute chart to kind of give us a sense of where we want to trade, and then we take our entries from the 0 DT chart when it comes to SPY. I don't swing SPY really at all. That's more so the individual stocks. When I'm playing the 0 DTs, those are the 5-minute, and then when I'm playing individual stocks, I'm always looking at the weeklies, so we're always looking at the 30-minute and higher. So drop a like, drop a sub if you guys enjoyed, and join the court if you want to learn. I'm out. Peace.